Hey everyone, it's Dr. Mel here, and I have an exciting opportunity for you. I'm looking for 2 interns who would love to share your expertise in exchange for a scholarship to my Entrepreneur Academy. So if you've ever thought about starting your own educational consultancy, but you're just not quite sure exactly what you would do, I can help you with that. That's what you're going to learn in my Entrepreneur Academy. I'll help you figure out exactly where your interests, your purpose, your passions, your skills, all of your experiences, all of your expertise, where those align to be the perfect educational consultancy for you. So if you have some mad skills in social media marketing or email marketing or anything at all that you could help me in my business, then hit me up. I'm doing much of the work myself at this moment, and I could really use the help. And I know that there are some really creative educators out there who would love to exchange your services in order to learn how to start your own educational consultancy. I'm going to drop a link in the show notes. All you have to do is click on it, give me your name and email, and I will reach out to you with more information. Welcome back to Empowered Educator. I'm your host, Dr. Mel. In today's episode, I'm going to discuss a really crucial topic for all educators. This affects every educational system anywhere, using data to drive instructional improvements. Now, we all know that data isn't just numbers on a spreadsheet, although some people may think it is. It's really a very powerful tool that, if done correctly, helps us to make really good and informed decisions to elevate student achievement. So today, I'm going to talk all about using data to refine instructional practices and ultimately increase student achievement. Hi friend, are you ready to move into a leadership position? Do you have interests and ambitions that you want to pursue, but feel like you don't know how to take that next step? Maybe you want to start your own coaching or consulting agency. I'm Mel, and I help educators define their career path through correct mindset, knowing your options, and getting prepared for your career transition. I will show you how to level up your leadership skills, share your expertise in a new way, create impact on a larger scale, and put your leadership in motion. As an educator for over 20 years, I started to feel underused and like I had more to give. I knew when the time had come for me to leave the classroom and affect change on a larger level. Now, I'm ready to help you determine where your talents and skills mesh with your passions and interests, put your leadership in motion, and move into that next phase of your educational career journey. Let me help you define your career path by having the right mindset, knowing your options, and getting prepared for that next leadership position. So power up and put your leadership in motion. Hey guys, happy Friday. Today I want to talk about data. Sometimes that's a scary word for an educator, especially a new teacher or someone who doesn't really understand how important data can be. It's this scary word that is kind of elusive sometimes, and we don't always know what data to collect or how to collect it or how to use it once we have it. And we have all of this data swimming around in our classrooms, in our offices, in our student information systems, and we don't always know what to do with it. And today I want to talk about just those things. What is data? What do we do with it? How do we collect it? How do we know what data to collect? How do we know how to use it once we do collect it? All of those important things. When I was in college as a student getting ready to go into education, I had one class that was called Tests and Measurements. That was pretty much the extent of the data that I was exposed to in college. Now, I did have data that I was exposed to in my student teaching and maybe even a little in field work. I'm not really sure. I don't think so much in field work, but in student teaching, of course, I had data. But it was the data that I was told to collect, and I was told what to do with it. When I got into the classroom on my own, I was not real proficient at knowing what data to collect, what to do with it once I did collect it. And I certainly didn't always know how to use it to drive my instruction immediately or the next day. I think there are even administrators who really don't have a great grasp on how to use data in their building. And I'm ashamed to admit I was one of those new principals who, on top of trying to learn how to be a principal for the first time, was not super versed in how to use data in my building. I learned a lot as a principal. I had already learned a lot as a teacher, but I was never specifically taught how to collect data, how to interpret the data that I did collect, or how to use it to drive my instruction. When I became a dean of instruction, I learned so much, and I was kicking myself for not knowing this when I was a classroom teacher and as a principal, because I could have helped not only myself and my students as a teacher, but I could have helped other teachers as a principal had I known how to really use data to drive instruction. I didn't have a data-driven culture necessarily, or at least not as data-driven as it could have been. We tend to think about data as test scores or grades or things like that, but there's so much other data that we can use in our buildings. Attendance data is a very important factor in figuring out how to increase attendance. And attendance data also has a direct correlation with your achievement data, your academic achievement data. If kids aren't at school, they're not learning, and then they're not doing well on the assignments or on the testing. Attendance data also helps you identify those at-risk students who may be at risk of dropping out, or maybe they're facing some other challenges. Maybe there's some underlying issues, such as some family problems. The attendance data can clue you into that or alert you to those kinds of issues, especially if the data is showing that those students have had good attendance previously, and then all of a sudden there's a change in their attendance. And as the building principal, it is your job to know what students are chronically absent or chronically tardy. And of course, there's always assessment data that you have to be very aware of, which can give you a starting point for the beginning of the school year. New assessment data in the middle of the school year can give you information of how well things went at the beginning of the year and what you need to adjust before moving into the second semester, because you don't want to go into a second semester if the first semester didn't go well. And it can also clue you into teachers that need a little extra support, especially new teachers. A few other types of data that you need to be aware of is behavior data. We sometimes forget that that is data that we can use to address some issues, which all affect student achievement. Our demographic data in our buildings and our districts is so important to know and understand. One that you kind of don't think of sometimes is the enrollment data, whether that be to your district, your building, or even to specific courses. For high schools, graduation and dropout rates is really important data to keep track of so you can adjust educational programs if you need to, or you can see what areas need improvement. Even health and wellness data is important to collect not only on your students, but your teachers as well. One thing that I probably didn't do as well as I should have as a principal was to create that culture of data-informed instruction. We did some work as a district, but probably not as effectively as we could have. So making sure that you are providing professional development that is high quality and really helps teachers understand data analysis is so important. Those professional learning communities that you hear about in all of the schools, it allows educators to collaboratively analyze data, share what's working in their classrooms, share what's working in their buildings, share all of those insights, and then discuss any other instructional strategies that are really yielding those results that we all want to achieve. This is not the time to keep information to yourself. This is where you help your fellow educators be better educators, because we all want the same thing here. We have one end goal, student achievement. So if you can, schedule in some regular PLC meetings that are focused on data analysis and encourage your teachers to come prepared with data-driven insights and instructional strategies that they've implemented. And it's always good to come with data like exit tickets or assessment data that you have used in your classroom or your teachers have used in their classroom, so you can really break that down and see where your instruction may need some strengthening, or if there was a gap somewhere that you can close. And this time in the life of a teacher is really good because you can leverage technology for data collection and analysis. Now, I said that data is not just a spreadsheet of numbers, but when you're analyzing data, a spreadsheet of numbers can help you see trends. It is super useful. You can color code. And I used a spreadsheet to look at my data, and it was really helpful in seeing those trends, those patterns where I was not strong in my instruction, where students may have had some misconceptions that I needed to go back and correct, or teach my teachers to go back and correct. Figure out what works for you and make it work for you in a way that is very beneficial. And knowing how to collect data is just the first step. There has to be an actionable plan that you can use to implement that information in the classrooms, either as a teacher or you can teach teachers how to do it if you're a building administrator. And the best way to do that as an administrator is to be in classrooms every day, at least once a week in each classroom. So you know what's going on, you know what strong instruction looks like. And so when the data comes in, you know how you can help your teachers be better at instructional mastery. To recap, identify the key data metrics for student achievement in your building or your district, or if you're in the classroom still yet, in your classroom. Cultivate that data-informed culture as a building leader and a district leader. Number 3, leverage technology for data collection and analysis. Makes it so much easier. Number 4, develop action plans based on your data insights. I hope you feel empowered to leverage data as a catalyst for instructional improvement in your school or your district. By identifying those key metrics, cultivating a data-informed culture, utilizing technology, and developing actionable plans, you can create an environment where every student can thrive and teachers feel comfortable. Remember, the ultimate goal is to enhance student achievement, and data is a powerful ally in that journey toward excellent student achievement in your building or your district. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I hope you have a great rest of your Friday and a great weekend. I would really appreciate it if you would take 30 seconds to hop over and give me a rating and a review so I can grow the show and keep bringing you valuable content. And I would like to invite you to my school community. I have a link in the show notes. I'm going to have so many different resources on there. It's called the Empowered Educator Community, just like the name of this podcast. I will have different courses. There's a leaderboard to make it fun. There's free stuff. There's things that you can purchase within the community. I have so many resources for teachers. The ones that I use as a consultant, I have put those in there. They're the things that I take to schools and train teachers with, the things that I used as a dean of instruction. And the best part is you'll have access to other educators in different areas of education, in different stages of their careers. We have new teachers in there. We have seasoned teachers in there. We have superintendents. I want to build this community so it can be a super important and valuable networking opportunity so you can learn and grow and get great ideas, not only for your classroom, but also for your district and your building if you're a building leader. Again, I will have that information in the show notes so you won't have any trouble finding it. Have a great rest of your weekend, and I will see you back here, same time, same place next week. Bye-bye.